And now to Kenya and a story about helping the poorest of the poor find homes and hope. Special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro reports.
In the shadow of one of Africa's most modern cities, the sprawl of slums. Almost 2 million of Nairobi's 3 million residents are jammed into just 5% of the land. They've come from the country's rural areas. Tens of thousands have poured in from neighboring Somalia. And most ended up in slums like Matare, desperate, unsafe, unsanitary places that lack the most basic amenities. Poverty is so entrenched that families have lived here for 2, even 3 generations.
So beautiful.
That was the case with Jane Ngori, one of a small but promising community of former slum dwellers who found a way to escape. Ngori showed Jacqueline Novogratz around her new home recently. Novogratz heads the New York-based Acumen Fund, which invests private capital in entrepreneurial projects to help the poor, like the community where Ngori lives.
I love the color. You can't just sit on it. This is so great. Fresh water, clean.
Fresh water, clean. Beans, spinach, onions. There are beans.
A third-generation slum dweller, Jane Ngori has running water inside her home for the first time in her life.
Then I open the tap. No struggling.
No struggling. No buckets outdoors.
Yeah. I have no stress. I have a kitchen. If I want to eat well, I can manage. So for stress, I don't have.
Ngori, who is HIV positive, used to be a prostitute, but sewing classes opened up a whole new world. She began buying up old clothes to recycle into children's dresses that she now sells.
This is beautiful.
Even with a stable and increasing income, buying a home is normally out of the question for someone like Jane Ngori.
It's very difficult to get any access to bank credit. As a Jane, for instance, an HIV-positive ex-prostitute who does informal tailoring and lives in Mathare with no legal address. Not exactly your perfect candidate for a bank.
So Jane Ngori turned to a microfinance group called Jamii Bora, which gives housing loans to low-income people. They must demonstrate the ability to handle credit and save money regularly, as Ngori did by saving for a down payment and paying back a sewing machine loan. Impressed by its sound lending practices, Novogratz decided to invest $250,000 Acumen Fund dollars in Jamii Bora.
Jamii Bora is extraordinary in that it is completely based in community. Jamii Bora now has people with 7, 8 years of credit experience who are repaying on a regular basis, who by using incrementally larger loans have increased their businesses to the point where they're making $4, $5, $6 a day, and where they can afford to buy a house. If you can structure the mortgage for a long enough time so that the monthly payments are equal to or less than the monthly payments that people were making in the slums.
In other words, by stretching out the length of the mortgage, Jane Ngori pays the same here for her house as she did for renting one room in the Matare slum. She saved for 5 years to make the down payment of 10%. Her home is in the suburb of Kapute, a new development of affordable, ecologically friendly homes that Jamii Bora built from scratch. Community members are helped by some engineering experts, but they do much of the building themselves. They even make the bricks and roof tiles here.
This is our new town, the general layout plan. What we have a composite of 8 neighborhoods. And in between, we will have our light industry, our markets, our police stations, and all other social amenities.
So far, they've built 700 homes. For all its successes, the town has far to go. The local economy is not yet able to sustain itself, and the road to markets in Nairobi is in bad shape. They hope such services and development will eventually come, especially if the government decides to help. Novogratz sees Kapute as a model for housing developments worldwide, one that can be scaled up to serve many more than the 2,000 families planned here. But to her, it's a reminder of another critical element in helping the poor.
We need hope in the world, and that you can move people from Mathare to houses like that are cheerful and airy with bathrooms and have those sunflowers standing right there, to me was almost a sign of you just got to keep going. And that we scale these, we have the numbers, but don't forget the hope, because we need that as a world too.
Jane herself is full of hope for the next generation.
Now my firstborn, she's in high school. She's in her 4th year. She will complete her high school in this year. So, and she says she would like to become a doctor, a surgeon. And I hope she will.
And perhaps the most hopeful sign that housing developments like this can work is that last year Jamii Bora paid back its entire loan to the Acumen Fund.
Fred's report was part of a collaboration with the Undertold Stories Project at St. John's University in Minnesota.